I took their operation and I said, hey, this is Mobe, and me and Mobe is different from everywhere else.
Very, very much
right?
so.
So I added my formula, added my whole secret sauce and everything, and it attributed to the success that it had here in Mobe.
You're watching West Side JA, and today my guest is a man that I've admired over the years, a man that I've wanted to interview officially, and I'm getting an opportunity to do this on your birthday. I'm talking about a man who we in Montego Bay call the fixer, Andre P'NuT Brown. Is there anything at all that you can't fix? But before you even answer that question, I see you wearing a shirt that has SOBE, S-O-B-E that is, and I see you wearing a hat that has the wording Mobe Reggae Nights. You are a Montegonian in the true sense of the word. Talk to me about these two companies, SOBE and Mobe Reggae Nights, or should I say SOBE is a company, but Reggae Nights is an event?
Well, we're going to break it down, but yes. First of all, let me just thank you, Janet, for offering me this platform. Clearly, we're going to speak about a lot of things, and I'll get a chance to share my story so everybody can have a much deeper perspective and understanding and awareness
of who you are,
of who I am, and the work that I've been doing for so long in Montego Bay that eventually brought me to this seat.
Listen to me. I am very proud of you.
Thank you for the platform.
And I want you to tell me, I know where you're coming from, and we're going to get to where you're coming from, because I know that there were days when you used to ask your mother if you can leave the yard, and she said, go sweep the yard.
Oh yeah.
You cannot leave. I know where you're coming from. I know your strengths. Tell me about SOBE. What is Sobe Holdings Limited? And what's Reggae Night?
Well, let's start out. So SOBE, it's the shortening for Social Butterflies Entertainment. And as a marketer and a firm Montegonian, back in the day, everybody said, if you want to get anything done, you have to link PNuT, and that was attributed for the work that I put in. I built up a reputation for delivering, and that's what you said, for fixing things. So my name became synonymous with Montego Bay and wanting to get things done at a very high level. And people always say, hey, PNuT, link PNuT. And when they would call Janet, I would always try to support, fellow businesses around and say, hey, you can link that person, link that person. And then when the feedback came in, they're like, well, PNuT, you recommended me this individual, but I wasn't pleased with the standard of work. And I said to myself, I'm getting so much requests for all of these jobs, and I'm passing it on, and it's not executed at a level where it befits my recommendation and my reputation. So I said, hey, you know what? This sounds like a business opportunity. So I said, you know what? I think I need to start something in this space. And we brainstormed and we came up with the name Social Butterflies, because at the time, the name came up in an article, and I liked that name, because it would represent what we were all about. So we started the brand, supporting companies in Kingston, doing brand promotions, doing marketing, doing promotions, which, that's my bread and butter. But I found a way to extend it beyond myself. And, I ran that while I was working for another corporate company for about 5 years, just doing it like it's a part-time thing, filling the needs, and people called me. So nothing I took really serious because I had my 9 to 5. And, fast forward, we all know the big, event that happened. COVID happened.
Yes.
And, I was in the entertainment and the tourism sector, which, as everyone knows, are two of the hardest hit sectors from COVID, because, that requires people. And, unfortunately, I was one of those who had to stay home because...
You were made redundant.
I was made, yes, in some sense, yes, I was asked to stay home. And I said to myself that, I've always been someone that, I just spoke on my background. I've risen above challenges and where I'm coming from. I said, you know what? And I read a lot. And one thing I read, they always say, whenever you have these huge life-changing times during history, out of that, you always have Phoenix rising. Opportunities always come up. And that stuck in my head. And I said, hey, let me look around. What do I have around me? And, I really just, dug deep and said, hey, I'm going on this full head on. And I transitioned the Social Butterflies brand from being a people brand to being an e-commerce brand. So people can stay home and make websites. And, that just grew to a whole nother level. And, the whole SOBE brand came to life. So fast forward now to 2023, we have 4 brands underneath the SOBE holding
At 38
company.
years old, you are telling me that you have 4 brands.
Correct.
That are doing exceptionally well here in Montego Bay.
Correct.
I am here interviewing you, and I'm having, honestly, if you look at me, you'll see that I'm having goose pimples because I know where you're coming. Before you tell me about those 4 brands, tell me where you're coming from.
Well, Janet, for most Jamaicans, we all have our stories of our come up. And, what I would say, and I would always be grateful for, I was born in a low income family. And I grew with my grandmother. But even though I was in a low income family, it didn't feel that way because I had, well, first of all, I was the only grandson from my grandmother. So I was Miss Pearl, one grandson. Yes. And I have aunts and, my sister, we all living in the same house. And my mother was fortunate enough to migrate overseas where, she got a job, not as an engineer, but those jobs that you go overseas and you do, so it doesn't.
You were a barrel pitney.
I was a barrel pitney, but my mom, she worked hard. And she tried her best to give us that support. But I grew with my grandmother up in Norwood, and we all from Montegonians, we all know that's not, the uptown.
Doesn't mean, but it produced.
You call it ghetto life.
Not right.
Straight.
No, I have a friend who does not use the term ghetto. He uses the word village.
Village.
He says that the people are from the village.
Right.
So I will say that you came from an area where many young men did not make it, but there are also many who made it, and you are one of them.
That is true. Because we're from Glendevon originally.
Yeah, I'm from Melbourne Avenue on the Salt Spring Road.
Sun Valley Road. That's where we originally lived. And when my mom, had got the job overseas, I moved to my grandmother in Norwood, and she really, surrounded us with discipline, and she gave us an understanding of how life is. She would bring me to work at times to see the struggles that she goes through. And, my aunts and my sisters, they always gave me that support because, we had brilliant minds, Even I went to Glendevon All-Age School. And funny enough, I was one of the first students in the history of the school to pass from grade 5 to Cornwall College.
Wow.
And that was almost like a national holiday at the school because it was such a great achievement. The girls will pass for Alverne and Mobe High, but the boys in Glendevon, given the area, normal, sad to say, but most of those boys end up on the most wanted list. I grew up with guys who at the time in my 20s were on Mobe's most wanted list because we all know, we know Glendevon, Janet, and the problems. So, it could have gone on a different path, but I thank, my mom and my grandma and my family for sheltering me and giving me that background and the discipline. And my dad also, he was a disciplinarian, even though we didn't live with him, but he was very disciplined and he taught us to stay grounded. And I think that spills over into my character and how I work so hard.
You're now a father as well, eh?
Yes, I am a father.
Father, how many?
1 so far.
You could have gone in a totally different direction, but you chose not to. You are now representing some of the largest companies in the country.
Correct.
When I walked into your office this morning, I saw a calendar and I saw some names that I probably won't mention.
Right.
But I saw some of the biggest names.
Big
Those
boys.
are some of the companies that you're representing.
That's correct.
What is it you do for these companies? And tell me about the 4 brands. Now that we have seen that you made good of your life and you're here today representing these companies. Tell me about the things that you do for them.
All right. So
And how young people in this country as well
right.
can emulate you and do what you are doing to make the best of their lives.
Definitely. So under the Sobe Holdings portfolio,
Yes.
we mentioned the Social Butterflies brand, which
Yes.
is a brand marketing company. And with that, as you stated earlier, we represent some of the biggest brands. So you find that Mobe is a very hot economic zone for these big brands because Mobe, we have spending power with our tourism sector and our call center sector. So brands always focus their efforts on ensuring that Montego Bay knows about their brands, knows about their products. And brands, Janet, this is a very important focus for them because they spend a lot. This is marketing, this is how they drive sales. So when they come into Montego Bay, it can't be a hit and miss. So because of the reputation that we built up, one brand came and we executed for them at the very highest level using my 20 years plus experience. I can't believe I'm saying that. My 20 years plus experience in the business and working at a high level, I transferred.
Was that the Rum Festival event?
One of many.
Okay.
One of many. And they acquired our services and we executed for them at a very high level and they were very impressed. And as you know, it is one thing you can hold down and that's good feedback. And they were so impressed and the word got out that there's this agency in Montego Bay and PNuT is behind it and you have to go see him. So that attracted all the bigger brands to say, hey, we
Tell me some of the big
waste.
brands that you work for.
Well, we have Grace,
Grace Kennedy.
Sunshine Snacks, Supreme Ventures, Best Dressed Chicken, Red Stripe, Heineken,
PNuT.
Massive Distributors,
PNuT.
all the big brands. The list goes on. Once it's a corporate brand, CPJ, select brands, you name it, all of them procure our services. So with that, we execute for them. We ensure that their brand is being promoted at a very high level. If it is sales driven, then we do that task. So that encapsulates the Social Butterflies brand marketing aspect of things. And as a party man, we do a little bit of the party stuff because we can't leave out the promoters. They are a fundamental part.
Yes.
And for our team, it's fun for them. Because when it's corporate time, it's corporate time. So that's the Social Butterflies brand. And I mentioned earlier, it morphed into SOBE stores because when COVID came, we couldn't have people. So we brainstormed to see how could we still help businesses to succeed and market themselves. So we said, hey, the internet is the future and bringing your business is e-commerce. So I did my research. I jumped into e-commerce at a level where I now allow small businesses who had their little Instagram stores to now have first world websites. And there was a big challenge that how do they get paid? Because that was the biggest thing. Because then you want something on Instagram, they said DM for price, you have to meet them downtown and you're sketchy about that. And it was just a challenge. Bank transfer is tedious. So we solved that problem by attaching them to the ability to accept payments directly on their website.
I saw where the Prime Minister gave you a big shout out.
Big shout out.
Because you were able to get, for instance, the man selling jerk chicken on the roadside,
correct.
the man selling him hot dog during COVID was able to sell his goods through e-commerce.
That was a big thing for us, because when the ENDS program came and the government said this is the way to go, I was already a year in. Because I'm always a mover and a thinker. And when I saw the program and they reached out to me, I used my experience and my knowledge of having been doing it for a year and dealing with these different scales of customers. And I said, hey, maybe we should try this approach. Here's what worked. And when we applied that formula, it took the program to where everybody was saying, can this work? Could this work? To know this national discussion of how successful, because we now had vendors and pan chicken men who could be at a location still doing commerce. People could get food at home and they could go order pan chicken on a website, and the pan chicken man get his money, and I send a delivery man for the
smooth sailing.
And the Prime Minister, he was, and his team, and Minister Carl Samuda, the Superintendent of Police, they were very inspirational behind all of this. And Lauren Parrott in Kingston, and they were very happy that that Montego Bay really had a firm say in this national program that was helping so many small businesses to survive during COVID. And
but you went a little further than that, and I want to get to where you took the thing. When I saw those bikers,
right,
throughout Western Jamaica, delivering food on bikes, and now I'm hearing that Hugo is leaving Jamaica.
Yes.
Where does that leave your company?
Well, with the Hugo in life, Janet, once you focus on doing good, and everybody out there who's watching, focus on yourself, develop yourself, be the best person you can be, focus on what's in front of you, and everything else will come. Because when I did the ENGE program and the e-commerce and SOBE stores, I had no idea that a delivery company would fall in my lap. And weeks later, Hugo being a big giant in the region, they came to Jamaica, and lo and behold, who did they come to? Mr. PNuT. And I took their operation, and I said, hey, this is Mobe, and Mobe is different from everywhere else.
Very, very much
right?
so.
So I added my formula, added my whole secret sauce and everything, and it attributed to the success that it had here in Mobe. However, after spending 3 years, and it grew to become where my logistics company, Janet, SOBE Logistics, which is under the portfolio, was born. And I now probably own one of the second largest delivery companies in the entire Jamaica, just because I have a unique business case for having so many. So within a month's time, I had one of the biggest delivery companies in Jamaica, supporting Hugo, Pier 1, even hospital is one of my clients. I've had patients doing operations and need blood. And ambulances can't get the blood from the corner original to microlabs to hospital in time. And the only thing that is quick enough is one of my bikers.
Oh
so
my God.
I have bikers on the road now doing life-saving work for hospital. So, and I support Pier 1 and other establishments with
You are carrying blood.
Yes, and other sensitive medical, important for surgeries and operations cross town when patients need it and hospital.
Because it can only be done on a bike.
Only on a bike. And not just any bike, but a reputable company who known to have bikers that
wear them helmets and everything.
And get the job done.
How many people are now involved in this operation of your company? How many people report to PNuT Brown?
Well,
you have been watching West Side JA. We'll be right back.
All memorable moments include delicious food. Good food can transform the ordinary into extraordinary. We welcome more good times together, more memories we won't forget.
Rainforests always I make delicious moments.
Well, we have across the island, Hugo said, hey, PNuT, we love what you're doing in Mobe. We don't know what you're doing, but we did that formula in Kingston. So now collectively, I have about 120 bikers spread across the island that represents the SOBE Logistics brand.
And how many people you have at Social Butterflies?
At Social
Women who are there promoting various products, services. And I also know that you have workers in the hotels now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, so for Social Butterflies, we have over 300 brand promoters across the island.
Right.
And they are placed in strategic locations. So if a client could say, yesterday a client called me and said, Andre, we need 5 girls in Mandeville. Can you help us? I was like, of course I can help. We have 5 girls in down to Rocky Point. We can help. So, we positioned ourselves where at any time of the day, Janet, if you'd like some young ladies giving out some flyers at the farthest reach of Jamaica, I can jump in a WhatsApp group right now and say, hey ladies, we have some work, and these are trained individuals who we put through customer service training from different institutions, given certification because they have to represent us. So 300 brand promoters and 150 plus, 120 plus bikers across the island earn their income through opportunities that we provide them right from this very office.
How does your mother and grandmother, is your grandmother still alive?
Yes, she's still alive.
How do they feel about your success, what you have made of your life?
My mother, she could have not been happier because, you know, from an early age, Janet, I read the Bible at my basic school graduation, right throughout. You know, at that time, some people couldn't even read. And I read the Bible, 13 verses, because I graduated the top of my class at the Glendevon infant school. And, you know, from back then, I've always been a smart child, and everybody knew it. My sister, she was very bright. And when my mom went overseas, and as I explained, she found it very hard because we were 3 years apart. So when my sister moved from Alvernia, she got a chance to go to Florida International University, and she didn't have her green card, so she could work, and papers. She had to be supported before she could work. So my mom, on top of all that she had to deal with, she had to send my sister to school, which was a mountainous task. And then I'm now out of high school. I'm at come in my second year, and it's time to move on to university. And, you know, there was a struggle at that time because, you know, we explained the upcoming.
So you didn't get an opportunity to go to university?
Get a university. I said to, and I was in the party business. And my dad, you know, he was a churchman. He's a Jehovah's Witness. And I don't need to go into that.
No, you don't have to tell me anymore.
And in the party thing was not his thing, and the life he saw me living, he wanted me to go around and preach the word of God. And, you know, for me, Janet, I said, you know, I saw more for myself. So I said, hey, you know what? He gave me an option. You stay under my roof and you do the Bible thing, or you just do your own thing because this can't work in the house.
Right.
So I said, I called my brethren, you know, Jermaine, big up yourself, and he had a spare room over by Greens, and he said, move in. And I moved in, and, you know, the rest is history. The rest is history. So back to my mom. So she felt that, you know, she should have given Andre this opportunity to go to university to fulfill the potential everybody knew that he had.
Right.
And, you know, when I went on the road, I did my own thing. She was one of my biggest supporters. Every video, Janet, I almost blocked her from Facebook. She was the first to comment, big up my son, love you, son. And I'm like, Mom, come on, I'm here trying to be cool. I'm here trying to be P'NuT, and here you come with this support thing, you know. And, you know, and you know, so you know, fast forward, you know, years later, I look back on some of those posts. You know, Facebook reminds you of those memories.
Yes.
And I said to myself, look how me I stress over myself. Remember that day, a mommy with pana. You know, I shame me for it. I never look like mommy's boy on social media, big old P'NuT. And I look back, being this age, and I smile because she's one of the proudest individuals. And my grandmother, you know, she couldn't be more proud because back then, Janet, Miss Pearl, one grandson, can't do no wrong, you know.
Yes.
So, you know, she had high expectations. I mean, to see where I can go back, I can help the family, where I am. She talks about me, my family said, you know, P'NuT is my nephew. And people say, you sure P'NuT are your nephew? I'm all just like, yeah, man, I'm a nephew. And they don't believe that, you know. So, you know, for them, it's just so great to see their little Andre, you know, who rose above all, and, you know, he's now here doing his thing.
You got married at some time as well?
Yes, I did. I got married 10 years.
Hold on, you got married at 28?
10 years ago. 10 years, yeah. We stopped counting, to be honest with you, Johnny, but it's about 9 years.
Yes.
10, because I know I said I was wanting to marry by the time I was 30, because to me, family was very important, you know. I held back myself being one of the most popular guys in Mobe to not have any children until I'm 30. So that's some good discipline right there, because I believed in family, Janet. And, you know, I always told myself that when I get to that age, I want to have a family where there's mommy and there's daddy, because I didn't have mommy and daddy growing up, because mommy was in foreign, daddy was working, I was with grandma. So that's a structure. I was a goal of mine to be in a nuclear family where I could support and come home and see my kids.
Wow.
And I achieved that at 30 years. I found the right woman, you know. It was a funny story how we met. You even covered that.
I know,
right?
I did.
She's the mother of my beautiful daughter, Aya Brown, who my
Yes.
company is named after, by the way. Actually, Aya's Social Butterflies Entertainment Group. So, you know, so the family part came. We were looking to expand the family, but, you know, COVID came and, you know, it delayed.
Yes, and you're getting to be 40 soon.
Oh.
So you want to extend it. But, P'NuT, I want you to speak directly to how one starts a business. I want you to tell people out there how they can make a difference in their lives. How it is that it doesn't matter where you're from, what your address was. I wanted you to think like, what's her name who did that song, Wrong Address? There's this Jamaican artist, female artist, who did the song Wrong Address. I want you to think about that and tell people in this country that they don't have to cash no dunce check.
Right. That is true.
Because,
well, you know, let me just talk.
And I have nothing against Valiant. I don't want anybody out there to, because I think he's a very good artist and that he has done well for himself. And it is obvious that he never cashed no dunce check. It's obvious because of the fact, when you listen to him speak, you know that he never did.
A bright boy.
A bright boy. So, but there are a lot of young men in Western Jamaica who want people like you to emulate.
Well,
how
Janet,
do we go about it?
That's an amazing question. And this is my camera.
Yes.
I like to talk to the audience. This is my camera. So, you know.
You have been watching West Side JA. We'll be right back.
All memorable moments include delicious food. Good food can transform the ordinary into extraordinary. We welcome more good times together, more memories we won't forget.
Rainforest always, I make delicious moments.
So, you know, I will tell all the young Montegonians, and young and old, because, you know, a lot of billionaires and millionaires, they didn't start until their 40s or their late 30s. So it's never too late to pursue that dream. But for the younger generation that's out there, you know, you have a greater opportunity because you have the luxury of time. And I can tell you this, sitting here looking at you at 38 years old, I would have never believed in a million years at 16, 17 that I would get to 40 this quick. So time catches up on you really quick. And you have to understand that you have to make the most of it while you're young. And for me, Janet, as you mentioned, that I could have gone down many paths. You know, this talent that I'm now harnessing to do good, imagine if I'd chosen the other side of the world. I could have been equally successful or I could have been dead. But that was never an option for me because I had a firm understanding from the beginning that if you'd like to reach to a particular stage in life, you have to work hard. Listen, as Janet mentioned, not all of us are from a background where we have that structure to say, hey, you know, we're going to pass things on to you. Most of us, we have to go out there and we have to create it. I want you to understand that don't make because where you're from or the circumstances, you know, that is around your life, it determines where you're going to end up to be. You are looking at someone who came from humble beginnings. I had a firm understanding of where I wanted to be in life, and I surrounded myself with the people and the atmosphere to do that. And let me tell you one key, Janet, that I will pass on.
Yes.
The universe, it works in a particular way and it gives you what you want if you ask for it. But not just ask for it, but you have to pursue it. And once you pursue it, it will start to attract things to you. And once it starts to attract things to you, it is for you to use that and to say, hey, I'm going to use these opportunities that are coming at me to better my life. So don't, as I said, don't make your struggles, don't make your situation determine anything. Change your mindset, Tell yourself, I want to be successful. I am going to be a millionaire. When I was younger, every time I saw a shooting star, Janet, I said to myself, I wish to be a millionaire when I'm older. I wish I had stated which currency. So if you're watching this, when you wish on the star, say the currency, but yeah. You know, I told myself that I wanted to be successful from an early age, and I surrounded myself with that mindset. And once you surround yourself with that mindset that you want to make it, this is what I want to achieve, and
you want to do it legally. Honestly. With no corruption around you.
You focus on that.
All right.
And because I've had my fair share of opportunity, Janet, to go south, and you know,
and you decided not to.
That's not the path I would like to go down. And I just stuck to it, and that's what you guys, you know, resist the temptation to, you know, to go south, and, you know, to do things that you know will not lead to, you know, prosperity and to life and to growth. Just focus and just work hard and, you know, dedicate yourself, and, you know, you will
I'm
see the
so
results.
proud of you, P'NuT. Again, we're talking to Andre P'NuT Brown of SOBE Holdings Limited. You're watching West Side JA. It has been a pleasure, a real pleasure sitting with you this morning. I can't wait to see what's going to happen to you in another 10 years when you get to 48.
Well, you know, Janet, as I said earlier when the program started, you know, you have an amazing platform. You know, you yourself, you've built up an empire for yourself with a very high and a huge reputation for always looking out for the Montego Bay public.
We have
and
to.
helping us to grow. And, you know, platforms like these, I rarely get them to share my story. And I think you're doing an amazing job in helping us as Montegoans who are trying to do our best to impact society and to elevate Montego Bay, a platform to speak and for people to hear us. And if we continue to get opportunities like these, Janet, as you said, in 10 years from now, it's going to be even higher from there on. And so I thank you too.
Thank
for the
you.
platform.